Hello friends, welcome to another GI one-off video. I am Alex Stadnick. Join with me today, Blake Hester, Jay Guisao, Jeff Cork. Gentlemen, always a pleasure to have you. We've been doing a lot of one-offs because Cyberpunk 2077 is out, and man, is it giving us a lot to talk about in for better or worse. And today we got a weekend with a game, and we want to address the statement CD Projekt Red, the developer, put out today. So I'm going to read it. I'm also going to put it up on the screen, and then, gentlemen, we can have at it and discuss our experience with the game, and then also what we think of CD Projekt Red's statement here. So it's the classic yellow image that we all know and dread at this point, but it says, "Dear gamers, first of all, we'd like to start by apologizing to you for not showing the game on base last-gen consoles before it premiered, and in consequence, not allowing you to take a more informed decision about your purchase. We should have paid more attention to making it play better on PS4 and Xbox, as we've found out. Second, we will fix bugs and crashes and improve the overall experience. The first round of updates has just been released, and the next one is coming within the next 7 days. Expect more as we update frequently. Whenever new improvements are ready after the holidays, we'll continue working. We'll release 2 large patches, starting with patch 1 in January, the aptly named. This will be followed by patch 2 in February. Together, these should fix the most prominent problems gamers are facing on last-gen consoles. We will be informing you about the contents of each patch ahead of their release. They won't make the game on last-gen look like it's running on a high-spec PC or next-gen console, but it will be closer to that experience than it is now." Interesting. Finally, we would always like everyone who buys our games to be satisfied with their purchase. We would also appreciate it if you gave us a chance, but if not, if you're not pleased with the game on your console and don't want to wait for updates, you can opt to refund your copy. For copies purchased digitally, please use the refund system of PSN or Xbox respectively. For box versions, please first try to get a refund at the store where you bought the game. Should this not be possible, and this I think is the most important part of this, please contact us at cdprojectred.com. It's up on the screen. You guys will see it. And we will do our best to help you. Starting from today, you can contact us for a week until December 21st, 2020. Humbly, the development team at CD Projekt Red. I guess we'll kick things off with where have you guys been playing it? What have you guys enjoyed, not enjoyed, and what do you guys think of this statement? We can break it down piece by piece. I think the interesting part to start with this is we should have paid more attention to it on PS4 and Xbox. I think that is kind of their saying we knew that this was going to be rough. So how do you guys feel about that? Jeff,
I think that CD Projekt Red was in a really tough position before the game was released. I know that one of the big things with it is, it features ray tracing. So like all the pre-release coverage was on the, high-end PCs running like NVIDIA cards, top of the line and everything, because they really wanted to showcase how awesome it looked there. So I understand their impulse for wanting to do that. However, I think that a lot of pre-release coverage, they always want to put their best foot forward. But I think in this case, what happened is a lot of times we give them benefit of the doubt, where it's just like, it's going to look best on PC, undoubtedly, until the next gen patch comes up. And perhaps it'll be close to that on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X/S. But you just assume, all right, it'll be all right on last gen consoles. It'll be fine. That assumption apparently did not bear out.
Not at all.
It seemed less like it was, we want to put our best foot forward and show you the PC version because that's what looks best, and more like, this one kid of ours is real ugly, so we're not going to put him in the back of the family shot. We're going to maybe kick him off to the side entirely, pretend that they're not around. Yeah. Until it's too late.
For sure. Well, Jay, you've put some decent time into the last gen version of this game, correct?
Yes, I have played both on the Xbox One and but I've been mostly playing on the Xbox One X.
Okay.
So yeah, I've been on both of those, and it's been rough going. Yeah, it hasn't been great. NPC, like, you talk to people and their mouths don't move, crashes, freezes, characters standing in the driver's seat, like clipping through the roof while driving down the road and whatnot. Had to reload a lot of saves. So yeah, it hasn't been graded. It's not optimized for those consoles at all.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's
I think, like, and if it makes you feel any better, Jay, I know that, like, I'm playing on PlayStation 5. I think the frame rate is way better. It's close to, if not always locked at 60 frames per
Nice.
second. But I get crashes fairly regularly, you know, run into like T-pose people. Like, it is not, I mean, it's not a stable, great experience on PlayStation 5 running in backwards compatibility mode.
for sure. And I definitely, in my experience with, because they put out I think it was a 15 gig patch on Xbox
Yes.
this weekend, and I
Yes.
will say it did help my experience. I think if you guys watched the last video, one of my main gripes from playing it on Series X is it had this weird whitewash that no matter how much I messed with the visual settings, I could not get that feeling of like overexposure gone, and it finally clicked, which I think, I don't know if that was part of that. I don't know if I just fiddled with the right thing, so that definitely helped. But yeah, it seems like they knew they had a long ways to go, especially with this statement, which is a bummer. I know they would have gotten killed for it, and I know they had to hit Q4 numbers, but it's like, has there been a game like this messed up at launch since what? Fallout 76?
well,
Yeah, right.
I mean, sure. I mean, of this scale, though, I
Yeah.
think is a different question, or of a game this big that's going to sell this well,
Sure.
you know?
Mhm.
I don't know how rare a case it is that Cyberpunk is launching like this as opposed to other games, but it is like the biggest game of the year launching in a, I guess it's fair to say, catastrophic state for the majority of players, you know?
Mhm.
Which I think makes it a pretty unprecedented case. Like, it's not like Red Dead Redemption 2 didn't launch like this, you know, like a game of that scale and that pedigree.
Yeah,
Right.
and
Right.
I think GTA Online launched in a similar
Sure.
state, but at least you had the single player to fall back on.
I think it's like I feel like this is a multi-fold issue, and the statement doesn't do a good job of answering any questions I have, which is like, this game has been in some form of development for like 8 years. I don't think it was in like heavy development until after Blood and Wine, but like, you know, they were working on it for 8 years, and you have to assume for a lot of that the plan was PS4, Xbox One. I don't know exactly internally when next gen comes into play. I'm sure they had plenty of an advance warning than we did, but like, it makes me wonder where, if there's an issue of scoping or scaling with this game. Like, at what point from the get-go was it always planned to be this big, or when they're, you know, next gen comes into play, do they add stuff to it, like, or just fundamentally was the game scoped or scaled wrong? And if so, what kept them from pulling back and being like, you know, we need this to run on the things we announced it for, which, like, ostensibly it's going to have the largest audience for on PS4 and Xbox One, especially compared to the PS5, Xbox Series X, and I'd argue even compared to high-end PCs.
Definitely.
Like, where was the issue there? And that's like, I don't think they rectify that, and that's on them to have not made a game optimized for what this was almost always pitched as, you know? Like, I'm playing on PS5 and I'm having a really smooth experience for the most part, but like, that's a rare thing because not a lot of people can get PS5. So it's, I want to feel for the developers at CD Projekt Red, you know, especially the ones that aren't in control of business decisions.
Definitely.
But for the people at the top, I'm like, what the hell are you doing right now? Because like, do I need the Badlands in this? Do I need 700 side quests? Like, what could you have scaled back to make this a better user experience for the majority of your audience?
For sure. Yeah. That's
No, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Like, and to even like just go off of that, like, I think at least along the lines of like the world itself, like the explorable world itself, in the scale of that, right? Like, I mean, like on the One X, like I feel it, like when I'm driving and I'm leaving one area to get somewhere else, like the game will freeze, and like I'll still hear the music in the radio playing, but you can tell it's loading the next sector of the map, right? So yeah, I feel that all the time. And you know, the way side quests and just missions themselves themselves like work in the game, it's like you're constantly driving from one area to the next. So I'm feeling this all the time as like I'm zigzagging through Night City.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's like a thing like if Cyberpunk was announced this year and came out 2 years from now or whatever, and it was like pitched as, hey, play this shit on PS5, Xbox Series X. I feel
Mhm.
like I'd be a little more empathetic with CD Projekt Red as opposed to like, we don't even have the next gen versions of this game. So from the base of this game is unoptimized for what it should be running on,
Right.
which is
Right.
wild to me.
100%. So let's move on to the next part of the statement. Their roadmap, if you will, for when patches are going to come out. And as we said earlier, it was like 1.04 came out over the weekend, fixed some of my issues. I can't speak to how it affected your guys' games, but they go on to say that help is on the way. Until we don't know, right? We don't know how large these are going to be in scale and if these are going to affect the game drastically. I mean, they do say it's like this isn't going to change like the current gen or last gen versions to a high spec PC version, but like, so I guess, is that enough? Do you guys feel like they're covering the right ground with that? I know they can't comment on everything, but it feels a little
Mhm.
murky on what exactly it's going to fix.
Liked them to have called out specifically when they're reaching out and like they want to have a dialogue with their players. What specifically are these biggest issues that are affecting people that we should look forward to being addressed or fixed? Is it stuff like crowd density? Is it stuff like loading in, like streaming of assets when you're like traveling, like Jay was saying? Or is it crashing? Is it all of the above? Like, I just don't know. I that doesn't even register with me. Is like, you've got 3 updates coming. I won't say that's bad, but I don't know what that means. And
Right.
they're also saying like it won't be the same as running on a high end or high spec PC or next gen consoles. I'm playing on a next gen console, and like if this is all you have to look forward to, guys, you might want to like temper your expectations a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
How about you guys? How do you feel about it?
I totally agree. Like I think if I'm being honest, right, I don't know when I'm going to be getting the next gen consoles. Like I don't know. Like I mean, just based on like the restock situation, stuff about like how like they might not meet like expectations like along like stocks like until like April or something. So I don't know when I'm going to be like getting these next gen consoles. So when I see something, like something along the lines of like, hey, like it won't be as good as next gen, but like, like it'll be like better. Like I like just the vagueness in that just makes me really nervous. You know what I mean? Like, cause like the game isn't like aside from like the bugs and the glitches, right? It's not like great to look at, on the One X. It really isn't. Especially when you like get up close and talk to people, like it's just not great to look at. So it makes me nervous to like see like these patches come out and like, yeah, like things get optimized. Like people won't be like, I won't be falling through the ground anymore or anything. But like, man, it'll suck to like still see like a relatively like ugly looking game. And so like I don't know, like there's no real promises here other than like just the word promise, and there's nothing added, there's no context here, so it's just like it'll be better, but I have to like guess like in what ways it'll be better, and my imagination with this it's not great.
Yeah,
It's making me really nervous.
part of me wonders if CD Projekt Red knows exactly what these patches are going to fix at this point, because it seems
Mhm.
like across the board it has problems. So it's like, how do you rank which things need to be fixed, which can wait till patch 2? But also, I'd be gobsmacked if CD Projekt Red the week before the game went gold was like, hey, wait a second, PS4 Xbox One versions suck. Like they had to have known. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, I don't know. I wonder if it's a toss up of like fixing what they were already planning to fix, pre-launch, versus, oh, there's this whole new swath of things we need to get because that's what players are harping on the most. So
Mm.
that like ambiguity or murkiness, I wonder if it's just like out of their control for the next couple days or weeks, and they just
Mm.
wanted to rush a statement out.
Mm-hmm.
Calm the
Like, this is kind of a slight tangent, but I really do feel for the individual developers working at this studio
Yeah,
who have like
100%.
poured so much of themselves into this game for years. Because like this message in another reality where this game was not kind of broken at launch, this would be where they're like, "Hey, we're so excited about the positive reaction. Here's our roadmap. Next month we're going to give you a barber chair where you could get a haircut, and we're going to have like some new finishing moves for melee. We're going to give you the ability to customize your car in really fun ways, and like get a horn that changes. Like, can't wait to take you all along this journey." And now it's just like, here's some placeholders for some patches. We are so sorry, dudes.
And
It's it's interesting comparing it to Wild Hunt, right?
Mhm.
Because Wild Hunt, I mean, I don't think it shipped as broken, but like they had to work on that game for
Yeah,
a
for a
while
little
to
bit,
get
yeah.
it to where it is. And Wild Hunt, not that it came out of nowhere, it was the third Witcher game that studio had made, but it landed in a more surprising way. And now there's a lot of precedent with this being the follow up to it. I
Mhm.
wonder if this was like, if in a world where Wild Hunt didn't exist or didn't hit as hard, I wonder how much forgiveness there would be on this game.
Mm.
I'm not saying it needs to be forgiven, what is happening with this game, but I am wondering what the reaction
for
would have
sure.
been.
And I think
Mm.
I think when you compound that with the issues last week with the lack of a flashing light warning for people who have sensitivities to that, like and
Yeah.
just some of the gross elements that they teased in this, I think you're right. I think it is that perfect storm of this just not getting any sort of forgiveness from anywhere. It seems like the internet has done a complete 180.
Mhm.
And I hope people are being respectful, because like to Cork's point, like I feel bad for the people who put their lives into this. And as a creative, nowhere near the level of artistry, but like I know when my stuff is bad, or I know when I miss things. Like these developers are fully aware
Mhm.
of what was coming. I'm not on like a developer level, not the business level. Like they knew too, but that I feel like that's more insidious than like the individual developers, because they're like, we've been working like our asses off to try to get this done. So I hope people who are working on the game are taking care of themselves. But
Yeah. And
Yeah.
real quick,
Mhm.
like one of the things that like people say like, hey, it's impossible to develop for PCs because there's so many different configurations of hardware. You just can't account for every possible permutation. There's gonna be bugs, and we'll address them as responsibly and quickly as we can. But like when I'm playing on a console, and like like literally the third or fourth person I see in a bar is in a T pose, and I see that lots and lots of people are having the same experience. It's like, I don't know what to tell you guys. Like, making games is hard, but ultimately, after spending money on a game, like, it's not my problem that it's hard. You know what I mean? Like, I play lots of games that don't have people at the bar that are in T pose.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah, there's a level of, I mean, you're spending $60. That's a lot of money for people. Like, there's a level of polish that needs to be there for that to be a fair value proposition, right?
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm.
Speaking of the monetary aspect of this, the last piece of this, CD Projekt Red promising refunds. I guess I'm curious with you guys, and obviously we're in the industry. It's kind of hard for us to to not play this game, but like, do you think that's enough? And if you weren't in the industry, would you think about returning your copy, or would you stick with it to see whatever the promised version of this is? Jay?
Um, I think at least along the lines of like if I wasn't in the industry, if I would return the game, I probably wouldn't. But and I'm not gonna sit here and say that like I was like super like just ready for this, like I was like obsessed with this game, like that was like that wasn't the case. Like I mean, I was really excited about what they were promising from like the technical end, but for people who are like serious like fanatics of like CD Projekt Red, like it's like even returning, like even just not having the game anymore, right, just getting that refund, like it's heartbreaking, man. Like you wait like 8 years,
Yeah.
and you wait like 8 years, you're just like, I don't know, like something along the lines of like you're telling all your buddies, like you're just so ready, December 10th, you know what I'm saying? It's like it's here. You take off to play the game, and it's just like, you've waited almost a decade for this, and now it's just like, oh, like if you don't like it, like return it, and it's like that's not enough. You know what I mean? Like it's not enough to like cover that gap there, financially, but also like like I said, it's heartbreaking. Like I don't know. I personally, I wouldn't give it back up because I don't really feel like that's like the solution. I guess like you're completely going to be missing out on playing it anyway. So I don't know if I would go the refund route, but I can see why people who are like extremely disappointed, extremely upset. Maybe there are some people who like can't even play the game. I got a buddy who the patch rolled in and like his guns are gone. He can't take his guns out.
What?
So it's like, the joke is like run the passive route, but he can't hack either now. He can't hack. So it's just like, what do? You got to restart. You're 15 hours in, you got to start the game over. So
no.
yeah, it's just I don't know. I can see why some people would go the refund route, especially if their game is like unplayable like that, right? Get your money back and go play another game. But yeah, that's my personal opinion on it.
For sure. Jeff, how about you? What do you think of the end card here?
But briefly before we started recording, I think Blake brought it up. It's kind of like if you're not a terminally online person who doesn't read notes from CD Projekt Red, like that deadline is coming up pretty quick, the December 21st, which is, I think, notably before Christmas when a lot of people might be getting this game. So I wonder how much flexibility there's going to be with that. You know what I mean? Whatever you do, don't open it, I guess, is ultimately the advice you can offer. But like, I mentioned someone who's like, I'm so excited. I got like a new console for my little gamer buddy, and I'm going to download this game in advance, and they're going to be so surprised, and like, well, I guess they have this game now.
They will be surprised.
And I personally, I don't think I've ever gotten a refund for a game or anything. And I'm not about to start now because I don't know what else am I going to be mad about. I got to have this. I paid in. I got to have hold on to it so that I can gripe about the money that I spent because I'm a hero.
Blake, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, I guess CD Projekt Red's messaging is like, if you can't get a refund from GameStop or Target or whatever, they'll do their best to help you. Leaving it open for a week before Christmas, before their major patches roll out, pretty weird to me. But the hope is not many people will need to do that if they want to go that route. That feels like the nuclear option there. GameStop after a week is not going to be like, nah, you can't refund this or whatever. But
yeah,
it is weird to limit that in such a drastic way. Especially, honestly, who keeps their receipts? When I buy things, I throw that receipt away. I can't refund
always.
half the
I don't
shit
even.
buy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I usually go keep it. I don't need it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is wild for a developer to be like, hey, if you want to, just refund our game. That is, I don't know if I've ever heard anything like that from a developer, but the hard limits on it are weird to me. But I mean, hopefully people just won't have to get to that point if they want to go the refund route, and they'll be able to at the very least sell it back to a retailer, even if they can't get their full money back.
Right.
Yeah.
But 1 week before they're rolling out what they spent 3 graphs talking about is shady to me, I guess.
For sure. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I don't want to be that guy, but to your point, Blake, it is a tiny bit disingenuous, right? It's a little bit it's damage control. No one works on something like 8 years is a great portion of your life to work on a game, and no one's just just refund it. We get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's really sticky, and it definitely feels like it really does feel like a bit of an extended way of once again saying we're sorry, but yeah, but also giving that limit, right? It's also they please don't do it though, kind of thing, right? Please don't refund it. You can, but please don't. So yeah.
I hesitate to speculate too much on something like this, but considering that at least PlayStation 5 and Series X came out, and there are at least a few AAA games, I guess Demon's Souls is the one that's springing to mind, that's only for PlayStation 5. Developers had to have had some version of dev kits for these consoles for the past few years, and where that fell in with CD Projekt Red, we probably will never know.
No.
But it does make me wonder if, and again, speculation, could be off base here, if you get a PS5 dev kit, Series X dev kit in, and it's well, where are we gonna push our efforts now?
Mhm.
And I'm not sure. And if that was the gen that just came out, I'm not sure that would have been the right call after 8 years of marketing it for something else. But
And that just
Yeah.
doesn't.
I don't know.
When 115 million PS4s are out there, that just doesn't make sense. But
But it, and it's also weird because like Xbox is gonna want to be like, they had Keanu Reeves come out at their E3 press conference and say you're beautiful or whatever the hell, and it's like they're gonna want this to look good for their new console. This game was gonna be used to sell these machines, so it's like, where are you allocating those people or that time and effort when this is launching a month after these consoles? It's
Yeah.
I don't know.
100%.
I don't know.
Any parting thoughts on this from any of you gentlemen?
Yeah, I think that like anytime you've got a console transition, you always have that awkward in between phase for a lot of games where it's kind of like, who could forget, Gun on Xbox 360 and also on the original Xbox, and obviously the real gamers played it on Xbox 360 because it was just a better experience. We can't stop talking about it, right?
That's the Neversoft game everyone is talking about these days.
Absolutely. But like this, it was never, at least to my knowledge, a case of where like if you are on one side of the fence or other, you're getting a version that is broken in many ways, to be charitable, not nearly as good if you want to play that way. So I think this is one thing that I think works in CD Projekt favor is just the fact that when you do upgrade, it's a free upgrade for the game too if you bought it on last gen, but that's cold comfort for people that are lagging, stuttering, falling through the world, and
Mhm.
kind of have real sour taste in their mouth after looking forward to this for a really long time.
You know what this feels like is like the most dramatic version of when publishers like Activision or 3D Realms and God would do like Max Payne on PC and Game Boy. It's like, why the f- would I ever play that on Game Boy? Get out of here. People try to go to bat for some of those, like Leo Vader. Get out of my face with that. I'm not playing that trash. I don't know. I think he likes one of the Tony Hawk ones, so I shouldn't have thrown him under the bus like that.
We'll check the tape. Yeah. Jay, any parting thoughts?
No, yeah, I mean, I think here's the thing. I think like the statement and like the ambiguity of the statement itself, right? It forces, well, at least from my end, I think it forces CD Projekt Red to maybe have to like expedite like this game plan, right? Like there are a lot of questions that haven't been answered. And it feels like they got to get the ball running on like what we need to fix, right? And then it feels like they're gonna have to release another statement saying, hey, this is what we're actually gonna fix. Like here are the actual answers. So I feel like while I do think there needed to be a statement saying, hey, we hear you, there are problems, I don't necessarily know if it needed to be this thing where it's like here's like this like game plan that feels like we kind of threw it together real quick to sort of like ease tension. Like I feel like now they're kind of stuck in between a rock and a hard place with like, okay, we've said we're going to fix things, but now we need to figure out what we're going to fix and in what order we're going to fix them. So I'm just hoping that like, it's a stressful time, for gamers. It's a stressful time for the developers, right? And I'm just hoping that like one, like you said, Alex, that like they find time to like time for themselves, and like, these crazy times and whatnot. But I also hope that like there will be another statement that will provide like some more clarity, because I think that's what everybody really wants right now. And I'm hoping that when that statement does come out, it really does like sort of like illuminate exactly what the plan is, instead of it just being like patch 1 and patch 2 and like, it's just not many answers in that. So, and I think we're going to need answers pretty soon.
I think like in a perfect world, this would absolutely not happen. This seems like an interesting opportunity for the developers to make extensive deep dive videos showing all these terrible messed up things and explaining what exactly went wrong, why it happens, and what they're going to do to fix it specifically. I think that'd be fascinating. It's all stuff that everyone knows about at this point. Everyone's sharing this stuff. We see all these like problems. Like, tell us what's going on. Like, it seems like if you want to do transparency, let's freaking do some transparency. I think it would be like super interesting and fascinating. I don't know if they want to play ball with that because they would rather probably fix the problems, but I think if there was any possibility in like an alternate reality that something good would happen of that, that might be something.
Yeah, That's an interesting thought. That would be going from 1 to 100 real quick from this to that. But so
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see
Yeah.
how they handle it. You know, if you're a consumer, I feel for you, and I'm sorry this, you know, this, like Jay said, this is something we've been looking forward to for a long time, and to miss the mark that bad is unfortunate. So hopefully things get better from here. And if not, return it and go play Immortals. It's great. Go play Yakuza. There's a lot of great games. Like, there's a lot of good stuff. So, gentlemen, thank you as always. We all have comments on this, I know, but friends, if you guys have comments that are respectful and we can start a dialogue, please leave them in the comments below. Thank you as always. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. I'm sure there's more Cyberpunk news coming your way that we'll cover. So thanks, be safe, be good to each other, and we'll see you next time.